Opportunity.
The American ideal of opportunity is deeply embedded in our national consciousness. It embodies our highest aspirations as a people, and though we have never fully achieved it, opportunity for all has been a goal we have long aspired to.
Voice.
Expanding opportunity takes work, investment, and public structures. Uniting Americans as a people to solve problems and advance the common good.
Security.
Think of child immunization programs, our social security system,
Equality.
civil rights laws that help all Americans participate in our society,
Community.
even the interstate highway system, which connected us as a single, prosperous nation. We have it in our power to expand opportunity for all. Doing so requires working to turn our beliefs and aspirations into public support for fundamental change.
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 That is the mission of the Opportunity Agenda. Today, the promise of opportunity is at risk for too many Americans.
Our political discourse over the last 30 years has been increasingly about extreme individualism. If you can't get into a good school, if you lose your home, well, that's too bad. It ignores the history of our country and the values that we believe in. Actually, opportunity for all is good for everyone. The Opportunity Agenda is about holding our nation up to meet the promise of its values. We're also about telling that story in a way that engages the American people and builds lasting support for change.
I think of the Opportunity Agenda as a think tank and an action tank that helps to design effective communications, policy, and campaign strategies that can actually move the public and move policymakers to achieve the ends that we all seek. We worked to organize a presidential debate in the months before the Iowa caucus with a broad coalition of grassroots community organizations from around the country and Iowa. The Opportunity Agenda was an indispensable partner in making this happen.
Working in collaboration with the Center for Community Change, we came up with the idea of a campaign for community values. The idea that we're all in it together, that we share responsibility for each other, and that we have to invest in the common good, that's actually good for all of us.
The Iowa Presidential Forum was really unique in that it brought the voices of people who were almost never heard into the debate, addressing the candidates directly in really clear and specific ways.
We had, together with the Center for Community Change, trained hundreds and hundreds of organizers in Iowa, in Chicago, all of whom were working for greater opportunity and social justice, and all of whom were voicing it in the same language, this language of community values. Now, this was a nonpartisan event. We weren't trying to elect any party. We were trying to elevate a set of values. But it was striking that only a few weeks later, a candidate who had best articulated the values of community won the Iowa caucuses and later became president.
Economic opportunity is central to the American dream, and our policies should see that it reaches all communities. When a historic economic crisis hit our nation, the Opportunity Agenda acted to ensure that public investment in the nation's recovery was effective, transparent, and equitable.
These policies were essential to make sure that in employment, where folks who had long been shut out from good jobs, both women who were particularly shut out of the construction trades, and many workers of color got fair treatment.
The Opportunity Agenda launched a Communications Institute, producing a cadre of spokespeople who can move hearts and minds on social justice issues with a focus on racial and economic equity. And it developed new policy solutions to foster greater and more equal economic opportunity.
We had something of a boot camp. The idea behind the Communications Institute was to find these dynamic spokespeople and leaders and to give them voice and to give them training. And we were putting people on camera, and we were running folks through paces, and we were practicing questions to the candidates. We also placed online media in the blogosphere.
The leadership of the Opportunity Agenda has really been effective in making sure that those of us that too often can get caught up in the facts and the figures know how to articulate them well and effectively. The Communication Institute was a great opportunity because I know big companies and big politicians have access to all kinds of consultants that help them do those sort of things. So it also allowed us to learn from each other.
I attended the Communications Institute because I wanted to learn how to communicate the relevance to society as a whole, to make it clear that the work that we do is about fairness and about justice. And the Institute really reinforced everything that we do.
I want to make sure that what we develop is responsive to what you need to talk about and is also true to your own values.
The Opportunity Agenda trained 21st century communicators for social justice. It placed news stories on economic opportunity, reaching millions of Americans. And it helped change laws to ensure that billions of dollars are invested in the communities that need it most.
The Opportunity Agenda is about values. It's about media and communications, but ultimately it's about change. It's about fulfilling our promise as a nation and moving forward together, all of us, to really hold our nation up to meet the promise of its values.
Opportunity.
Opportunity.
Opportunity.